Okay, I have to clean up this hacksaw mess. Hello Internet, I'm Guy. In the last episode, and first episode of this series, I made the parts that comprise the displacer piston assembly. So I made this crankshaft, rounded it over the end, bored it through and slotted it, and made this little insert right here, and then glued all this together. In fact, actually this was press fit right into there. Then I made my own version of the, what do we call this? The connecting rod displacer, as in displacer connecting rod. Today I'm going to make this little bushing right here, which is what this part will slide through. I'm also going to make this tiny little bearing out of steel, and so that will fit right into here. And I'm going to make a crank disc for the piston side and a crank disc for the displacer side. First up is the crank bearing. This is made from 1/4 inch cold rolled steel, so I'm going to start off by facing the end, as is tradition. Clean it up nicely. Now I'm going to start turning down the small radius, taking it fairly carefully and looking at my digital readout and checking the diameter. I think I overshot. Okay, let's start over again. Actually, this is the second start over. I didn't show the other one. So here we go again, double checking now much more conservatively. All right, let's keep creeping in towards that final dimension. Very carefully, double check again, and will it fit? Oh yeah, that'll fit. It's a little bit loose, but I can live with that. It's a nice bearing surface. Works for me. So now, of course, I have to bore out the center for the shaft that this will actually go onto a 440 bolt. So drilling it out for the clearance hole. And now I'm setting up my cutoff tool to be parallel to the end. We're using a ruler. Then I can inch over and get my dimension correct to figure out how much to cut off here, using my digital readout to see the actual dimension that I'm moving to. Referencing to the right edge of the cutter as I was looking at it, which is the left edge as you see it. This stuff cuts pretty nicely, and boom, that's a nice little part. Now I'm onto the displacer bushing, which is a simple bearing or bushing made out of brass stock OD and just bored out for the ID for the shaft to slide through. So I'm just doing an initial parting cut just so I can define the end. Now I'm going to deburr the end, or it's actually called out in the plans. It needs a small bevel there, and I'm just deburring it with a file. Same thing on this end. Just take the edges off. This will be press fit into a casting, so that will just help it guide in. All right, that looks pretty. So center boring with a center drill. And the actual drill size, or actually one size down from the final drill size here. It's wandering a little bit, and that's because I'm using one of my brand new ultra sharp drill bits, and I've learned since that I should be using a dull bit for drilling brass. So I'm switching over to an old cheap Chinese dull drill bit. And that cuts a lot better. It's not wandering and screaming and just being annoying. So I'm speeding the footage up a little bit here to save you time, but it takes time to bore down all the way through that brass. And so here's the final drill size, which is called out in the plans as 2 different drills you need to use. So it's a perfect match to the shaft that will ride in there, and here we are checking it. It's a little bit snug. So I'm going to go up to a slightly different number drill and get that to fit better. Let's see how that's going to work out. Oh yeah, that's sliding very nicely. So this is the casting that this is going to press fit into. I actually bored that hole out in the casting very slightly, just loosely with a cordless drill, and that is just snug enough that I'm pretty sure that will press fit in there just fine. But just to ensure, I'm going to use a little Scotch-Brite just to clean it up. There's no point in making it look pretty because it'll be buried in there. And then parting it off. Came off really nicely. So there are two crank discs with different spacings between the center line and the arm. It's made from 7/8 inch stock brass that's provided. So of course the first thing to do is to face off that front surface. It's always just so satisfying to do that. Yep, that looks pretty. So now I'm going to just clean up the outside a little bit. The outside diameter is non-critical, but I just wanted to take off the factory finish, clean it up a little bit. So now I'm going to start reducing it, and I'm going to use the motor drive that I installed on my lathe so I can set a stop and just drive it using a little rocker switch on the side of my control panel there to just drive it backwards and forwards. So first cut goes in and then coming out is a spring pass essentially, and I can just drive it back and forth with this little switch. So I'm working my way down to the specified dimension here. I think I'm pretty close at that point. Just tidy up the finish a little bit. Nice little skim pass there, spring pass. I'm going to bevel the ends. I could have done it with a file, but I had this cutter right there in my quick change tool post. Knock those bevels off, bring that in and get the other end here. And yes, these bevels are called out in the blueprints. So, yep, center drill. I marked the depth with a piece of tape because my tailstock DRO is acting up and I've got to fix that someday. But it helps just to use a piece of tape, just boring into that depth and maybe just a little bit more to give myself a little wiggle room right there. And this is the final size. Again, the blueprints do call out for two different drills, one to drill in and one for a clearance to the exact diameter for the rod that will go in there. Taking it very carefully and very slowly. And then of course I'm going to chamfer that hole and clean it up a little bit. And yes, again, that is called out in the plans. They're meticulous. So now I'm setting up my parting tool, and I'm setting it up, as you can see, to the outer edge of that surface, which in retrospect is a mistake because I forgot to allow for the thickness of the parting blade. So when I cut this off, I ended up with a piece that was about, I think it's 0.015 too thin, basically. So I go ahead and part this whole thing and don't realize my mistake until later. So this is the first mistake I made on making these parts, and I'm learning every time. Notice also when I pull this off that it's slightly dished. I don't know whether you can see that, but maybe not, because the parting tool was just slightly off axis. So now I'm setting up the parting blade to reference the left edge with the left edge of the parting blade, so those are true to each other. That then, when I move over with the DRO to the measurement for the full dimension of the piece, gives me what I need. So I guess I screwed that one up too. So now I'm starting over again. I have some 1-inch stock because I ran out of 7/8 inch stock that was provided with the kit. So I just turned that 1-inch stock down to 7/8, doing a final pass here to do that reduction and make sure I've got my depth right before I go all the way in here. So once again, I'm using my motorized carriage to just drive back and forth and keep stepping in by, 10 thou at a time, and then the final pass is about 1 or 2 thou. Now I'm going back in again to get my parting tool exactly where it belongs this time, and parting again, because parting is such sweet sorrow. Thank you, Shakespeare. And of course I'm speeding up this footage. I don't want to bore you to tears with lots of parting, which takes a lot of time with brass. As you know, you have to be very careful with it. And here it comes, right there. Yeah, that one also is a little dished. So let's look at all three of these. This is number 1, and that, yeah, it was too thin. The wall was too thin. This one is better, but I had to hack it off because it kind of got torn up in the parting, so I had to actually just cut it with a hacksaw. This one is pretty good, but it's a little bit dished. So now I'm going to rescue one of these ones where I had to hack it off. It actually sort of caught, there was a bad catch in the collet chuck because I didn't have enough grip in the collet. So I hacked it off with a hacksaw, and now I'm just going to clean it up and finish out that surface. It's going to end up a little bit thinner than the blueprints call for, but there's enough there for the 440 screw machine screw to fit right into that surface. So I'm going to deal with that. That's fine. Double checking the fit on the shaft again, make sure that works. And yes, so both of those work. They're slightly different thicknesses. It's not a big deal. So now I'm center finding on the milling machine. I've got it in the vise. I realize, you notice it's cleared a little bit off the vise jaws because there's a bit of a radius in there, and that's a bit of a mistake there because when I start pressing down on this drill, it's rocking over very slightly, and I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem. I may have to make this all over one more time. The 4th time's a charm, right? But there, you see it rocking slightly? I don't know whether that's going to be an issue. I've got enough tolerances here with slightly loose parts. I think it'll be fine. So center drilling, I didn't show the drilling, and I've got the tap guide in the head there. Getting that out. So that's a number 6 tap, I believe. And that was number 4. This is number 6 tap. So again, center drilling, having very carefully centered it using the DRO. Boring it all the way through with a number 6 tap drill. Clearing just through there and coming out. And back in with the number 6 tap. Again, I'm using a tap guide in a drill chuck or a collet, I believe. So there they are. Those are those 2 pieces, and I think they came out good enough to do the job.
Thanks for watching so far, and stay with me. I've got lots more to come. If you're enjoying the video, give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to follow the rest of the story here. Thanks for watching.